John Stopchick, and he is going to be talking about using an audio recorder. John is a programmer, a gamer, and nerd who enjoys learning and teaching. He uses an audio recorder as the first step when creating speeches every time, and here's why. John Stopchick.
Thank you, Robin, and thank you for that introduction. I first want to start by pointing out that in general, even if you don't use this as a life hack, I would emphatically encourage everyone here to get some sort of audio recording device. They serve a bunch of purposes related to things that you can, they serve a bunch of benefits, excuse me. You can use them for meetings, for interviews, for classes, and then on top of practicing and setting up speeches. There are a couple of types of audio recorders, and I want to talk about those real quick. Just give a shout out to them. There's the standard click a button and record your voice type tool. Journalists you'll see use this in movies. My wife got me one of these very early on in our relationship, and it actually sort of inspired this whole idea. Beyond that, there's something more advanced called a light scribe pen. I think that's the official brand. There's actually various types of that where as you write, it will record what people are talking about. This is great if you're having a meeting such as this one where you're taking notes and you are essentially just trying to dump everything onto the page. What's great about this is if you have one of these tools, you can actually go back and tap on the part where you're writing and it will reference the conversation. At my previous job, we used one of these very, very much. I'm looking for a word to say a lot, but I can't think of anything great. That tool is something I've actually recommended at my current job, and I'm in the market to buy a better, newer one for that purpose on its own. But we're here to talk about Toastmasters. So I want to talk about why I love audio recorders and the context of that related to Toastmasters. These days, I feel like I've sort of advanced my game a little bit. I actually have an application called ColorNote on my phone. And you can't see that because it's shiny. But it's essentially a little notepad sticky note app that I downloaded forever ago. And what's great about this is I will be playing a game like Pokemon Go, or I'll be driving to the store or doing one of the other million things I do, going out and exercising. And that is the time when I come up with my best ideas. And consistently, that's always been the case. On top of that, it's just like when you're dreaming and you wake up and you want to record it in a journal. This is the same idea, but applied to speechcraft. If you go out for a walk and you find yourself stream of conscious, meandering, coming up with ideas, you're not going to want to pull out a pen and paper there while you're walking down a trail or certainly while you're driving. You're not going to pull over. You're not going to do that stuff. But if you have an app ready on your phone, and it's an audio recorder app that can transcribe speech to text, suddenly you're drafting your notes for your speech while you're dumping your stream of consciousness about whatever topic you want to talk about. This has served me incredibly well. My very first speech was an icebreaker, and I had to figure out, what am I going to say to myself? What do these people want to know about me, and how can I convey something in 5 minutes? Back then, I thought that's a lot of information. Having done a few Toastmasters experiences, I realized that's virtually no time at all. With all that in mind, the very first thing I did was I pulled out my ColorNote tool. I pulled out the audio recorder, I hit transcribe, and I just started talking about the things that were most important in my life. There was no rhyme or reason. There was no format. There was no beginning, middle, or end of a speech. It was just a thought dump. Trying to do that walking around my parking lot was miserable. So I went out and played Pokemon. Like I said before, I play my video game and I turn on my text-to-speech. And just while I'm randomly catching little creatures, I start thinking about all the things and why this is fun to me. My gaming, my friends, how I got into this stuff. All of that just came flooding out. Now, mind you, text-to-speech isn't perfect. So it's not always going to come out 100% accurate to what you want to actually have written down. With all that said, it's super easy to lift that off your phone, copy and paste it onto your computer, and make a bunch of bullet points. If nothing else, those bullet points are your guide for your speech. So at the very least, you can get a set of bullet points, or maybe you'll find a technique that really works for you. and you can use it continuously moving forward, as I have done for literally every speech I've ever given in Toastmasters now. Thank you.
Game over.